chronicling their success together in Man in the Arena. And Belichick was asked about his thoughts on the series, and that turned into thoughts on Tom.
Bill, I know you're busy working, but have you had a chance to catch any of the Man in the Arena yet?
I haven't. But I'm sure Tom did a great job with it, like he always does. You know, he was such a centerpiece in obviously all those games, and can't wait to see it.
He's very complimentary of you throughout.
Nobody deserves more credit for our success here than Tom does, and you know, he's a great player, great person, great leader, a tremendous opportunity for me to coach. You know, probably the greatest player in NFL history. And on defense with Taylor, the greatest offensive player with Tom and the greatest defensive player with Taylor. I certainly learned a lot from Tom, and he helped me develop as a coach, and as did Taylor. Very thankful for my opportunity to, over 30 years, coaching those two guys.
Yeah, and of course, he was talking about LT there with the Giants. I love these guys loving on each other. With the Patriots reeling off 7 straight wins after a 2-4 start, and this defense looking like the cream of the crop. New England and Tampa, the most likely Super Bowl matchup, according to ESPN's Power Index. Can we talk about that? The most likely matchup. That is incredible. Marcus, I will start with you. Would another Super Bowl mean more for Brady's legacy or Belichick's?
It'll mean more for Tom Brady, and I'm basing that on them meeting in the Super Bowl, Molly. I'm basing that on Tampa Bay and the New England Patriots meeting, because very rarely, I said this yesterday on Get Up, very rarely do we get a chance to actually answer the question when we talk about the GOATs, right? We've had this argument with LeBron and Jordan for a long time. We have it in other sports. But very rarely do we get a chance to see this square off. And I understand. Look, I always think players are more responsible because they have to actually go out there and execute. Coaching in the NFL, to me, is the most important coaching job in all of professional sports. I think they have more of an impact on how their teams perform and how they go about each and every Sunday. And we know that. We got that information in what Bill Belichick has done over his career. But the bottom line is, if these two meet in the Super Bowl, based on all of this talk that we've been having since we've heard murmurs of things that transpired in New England, all of the things about Brady being too old, Bill Belichick wanting to move on, I think if Tom Brady gets an opportunity to play against the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick in the Super Bowl, and as much as I want the Dallas Cowboys to be there, this option right here would be more intriguing from that part alone. I think it will be Tom Brady with the most approved, because you got the greatest head coach of all time and the greatest quarterback of all time on opposite sides of the football, and they go head to head for all of the marbles, and there will be no discussion based on what transpires in that game. So I think Brady has the most to prove.
I respectfully disagree. I would go the route of Bill Belichick, but I utter the word respectfully because I'm sincere in saying that. For 2 reasons, Marcus. Number one, this is not last year. If this were last year, it would be different, meaning the first year that Brady departed from New England and there was no Super Bowl championship on his resume that didn't come from the Patriots and playing for Bill Belichick. So that's number one. That's number one reason. Number 2 reason is that Bill Belichick is here with a rookie quarterback. And so those 2 elements, to me, makes this more meaningful for Belichick. Brady has 7 rings. Bill Belichick has 6 as a head coach, 2 as a defensive coordinator. What happens to Bill Belichick last year? They don't even make the playoffs.
Yep.
8 of his dudes decide not to even show up for COVID, because of COVID. Tom Brady shows up, plays, balls out, beats Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in a blowout in the Super Bowl, and cements his legacy. Not that he needed that, but it definitely was cemented. So we're talking about what Tom Brady is. And to some degree, we forgot what Bill Belichick brought to the table, because we assumed that the struggles from last year would continue to some degree, because, again, Bill Belichick didn't have Tom Brady as his quarterback, so your time was your time. What does he do? He reminds you he's not just the coach, but he's the GM, and he goes out there, spends the money, gets the requisite talent, okay? picked up Judon in the offseason, okay? You got Kyle Van Noy back from Miami because he had departed for a year before he came back. You still had McCourty. You picked up J.C. Jackson. You look at this defense right now. They are number 1 in the NFL, number 3 in yards allowed, number 3 against the pass. So you got an elite defense. Not only are you winning football games, but you're being led by an elite defense, and your signature, the signature to your greatness, is what you can do as a defensive-minded coach if you're Bill Belichick. Then when you combine that with the fact that you're doing it with a rookie quarterback, it lends itself towards blowing up and augmenting your system in the mind's eye as opposed to the talent. Because you're validating, okay, yes, Tom Brady is great. Tom Brady is a 7-time Super Bowl champion. But there was nothing wrong with me wanting to move on from him years earlier because I had the long view. Even though Tom Brady still had years left in him, I'm talking about the next decade and a half to potentially 2 decades. I was looking down the line. You can actually make that argument, and it sounds it's very reasonable and very palpable because at the end of the day, you're showing your system and what you believe in and how you go about the business of coaching has a profound impact on how your team performs and how they ultimately win. And if you go out there and you pull this off without Tom Brady, I think that says a whole bunch. That completes the picture of Bill Belichick. And even though we never looked at him and said he's not the greatest coach, we always knew that. This would cement that forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
All right. So there is no need to have a visceral reaction or argument because it's very important that people see both of what we're saying. Because I respectfully understand what you're saying. But here's my thing. And S.A., I thought about this long and hard because what you just said about Bill Belichick almost led me to saying it would mean more to Bill Belichick. But you know this, and I'm gonna relate this to basketball, right? Okay. All season long, we talked about we want to see the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets in the finals.
Yeah.
Right? We wanted to see Kyrie, KD, and James Harden versus LeBron, Russ, and AD. All right? Because of the relevancy of the championship. See, when you said 8 rings for Bill and 7 rings for Brady, that's not in context what I was thinking. What I was thinking was Tom Brady left the confines of New England, where quite frankly, if he was on this team, we would have them as Super Bowl favorites.
Yes.
We would have the New England Patriots as Super Bowl favorites. And when he left to go to Tampa, there was no relevancy from the New England Patriots. There was nothing to harp on about, is it Belichick or is it Brady? But now in this particular window, it brings us back to this conversation. Because as Molly Q just showed, there's a 10% chance, the most odds for these two teams to meet in the Super Bowl. And when I think about that, and I think about Tom Brady having an opportunity to play Bill Belichick for it all. I understand they played each other and it was a 19-17 win. But let's not act like it wouldn't be cataclysmic for them to meet in the Super Bowl.
I'm not saying
and
that.
Tom Brady to beat Bill Belichick when we consider this particular New England Patriots team to absolutely be built in the image of Bill Belichick's success.
Yep.
So what you got is system
Right.
versus the player. And that's the
fine.
argument we've been having for years.
We can do that, but at the end of the day, if Bill Belichick was to beat Tom Brady with a rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl, that would be cataclysmic.
But to us,
It would be.
To us, it would be. But I'm talking about who it means more to. Now, you've lamented about Jordan's insatiable appetite to beat people.
Yeah.
We relate that to Tom Brady as well. There is no athlete in the NFL that would rather beat Bill Belichick in a Super Bowl than Tom Brady.
Yeah, but here's what you're missing. And we'll end it with this. Here's what you're missing. That's true. But if he were able to pull it off, even though Tom Brady is going up against a stout defense, we're also able to look at New England and say, damn, you got a rookie quarterback.
No doubt.
If a rookie quarterback is at the helm and Bill Belichick beats Tom Brady in a Super Bowl, with a rookie quarterback. Not to say that anything could, quote unquote, do damage to Tom Brady because the legacy is cemented. But damn, when I think about impact and we use the word cataclysmic, the fact of the matter is you don't anticipate even the greatness of Bill Belichick can knock off a Tom Brady with a rookie at the quarterback spot with all the marbles on the line.
Gotta leave it there. But before we get to the Super Bowl, they both have tough tests this weekend. Big games, Pats, Colts, and Bills, Bucks. So looking forward to that. Coming up, guys, we've been comparing LeBron to MJ for years, but is Steph Curry the better comparison to his airness? This debate